Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today we're gonna make a whole bunch of random updates. There are quite a few things that I wanted to film and I wanted to share with you guys, but they're not related to anything, and speaking about each subject will take about 2 minutes, so they don't really deserve a standalone video. So I'm going to bunch everything up today. We're gonna talk about the dragon's blood. We need to do something about that, some sphagnum moss, some new orchids that I got, and so on and so forth. So quite a mixed bag, as you can see. First though, I want to start with the dragon's blood because we definitely need to take some actions sooner rather than later. Alrighty, so this is the cattleya we worked with last week. If you missed that video and you don't know what I'm talking about, check it down below. I'll give you a resume. This was the rotting cattleya that I got from Orchid Garden. We fixed it up and discovered that it had one growth with an already formed pseudobulb. So we cut away all of the rotting part and we saved a bit of it, and then we tried, where is it? Okay, we tried to seal it up with the dragon's blood. It was a test. I never used this substance before, but there are quite a few YouTubers who use it. So I thought this would be a good test for it. I don't think it was a brilliant idea for what I was using it, at least. So let me give you a close-up. Now, even though we cut away all of the rotting part and the tissue we left behind was really green and nice, do you see what's happening with this pseudobulb? It would appear the infection continues. I have a funny suspicion this is not an infection. I think it's the dragon blood actually damaging the tissue, because even in the evening of that day, I could see that the top was kind of falling inside. The tissue was actually being attacked. Now, that's a good thing. That's how we seal wounds. We damage a little bit of the top tissue, whether we dry it with cinnamon or other substances, whether with even hydrogen peroxide, which destroys a layer of cells. That's how you seal a wound. This, on the other hand, I think it's a little extreme. And yesterday it looked a lot better than now, so I gotta act right now. And I hope I can save the very base. Do you see that? Oh boy, this was not a good idea. And do you see how damaged the top is? This was not a good idea. So let's hope we can fix it. So what I will do is again cut lower. I'm not sure how advanced this damage is, but we're just gonna have to see. What I wanna save is this eye here. Do you see how green it is? That's the thing that I wanna save. Obviously my cutting tool is sterilized and a little hot at this point. Let's see. Alrighty, I think we did a good job. I think it's on the limit. Alrighty, so do we see here? It's really nice and green, and hopefully it will not advance further. What I'm gonna seal it with is cinnamon. So what I'm using is ground cinnamon. This is the stuff you find at supermarkets. You put in cookies. It's nothing special about it. It is, however, a drying agent. So I'm gonna use my fingers for this. I discarded a bit of cinnamon in my palm here, which I will throw away after I'm done. I'm not going to reuse this, and I'm just going to press on the wound. And being that the wound is fairly moist right now, the cinnamon will stick to it, and I will try to keep it very dry, so I'm not going to put water here. All I want is for a layer of this dust to cover the exposed wound. Okay, so I think we're done here. What cinnamon does is dry up a layer of cells, a layer of tissue actually, not cells. It will actually destroy a bunch of cells. This is what we want. This is how we seal a wound. However, we don't want the drying agent to continue further down. I feel like this is not infection here. I feel like it's just damage. So I think what happened was the substance entered the sap stream because it was an open wound, and it started to affect the tissue, but it affected it more than I wanted. So maybe I used too much, but I don't know. I just use it how everybody else uses it. Maybe this was not the instance to use it. Okay, extreme close-up here. It's hard. It's not squishy. Do you see it doesn't squish? This is hard tissue. It's not rotten tissue. It's damaged tissue. So as far as I'm concerned, it's the damage from the dragon's blood. It's not the rotting, advancing. This is hard as a rock, except the very top. Yeah, so I will conclude that this did not do very well for my particular instance. If we're talking about crown rot, maybe I can see there how it would be okay to affect the tissue further down, but even so, how much of the axis do you actually want to damage. Again, in the case of crown rot, we put that hydrogen peroxide there, it fizzes, it destroys a layer of cells. Then we put the cinnamon, again it dries that tissue, so the infection is completely eradicated and it cannot go further. So yes, we do want to destroy part of the tissue, but I do believe this is extreme. So I am going to be wary with the dragon's blood, and I will try it again, maybe with cut wounds, maybe with cut leaves or something of the sorts, and actually see how much it advances there. But when it comes to this, I think I will personally stick to the cinnamon because it doesn't damage the tissue all that much. So that has been my experience with it. I will continue to test it out, use maybe less quantity, maybe I didn't use it correctly, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I'll keep you up to date. For now, the dragon's blood situation was a fail. And on this side, I see some damage here as well. Let me just show you. I see some damage continuing on this other side. Do you see that root over there? It didn't used to look like that. I think the substance damaged a little bit too much the base of the pseudobulb, and hopefully it didn't damage the other eye. So I'm not very happy in this instance either. Yeah, I think the base of the pseudobulb is affected. So yet again, I personally am not happy with the dragon's blood. Maybe this was not the correct application for it. So yeah, I'll stick to cinnamon for now and continue to do controlled testing with the dragon's blood. Next up, a new orchid. Yes, I've purchased yet another Phalaenopsis, but this is the pinkest or fuchsiast Phalaenopsis ever, and also I think the most expensive Phalaenopsis that I ever purchased. I think it's more expensive than the Cingalo. Anyway, it is one of the new hybrids, I presume, and just look at that flower spike, how branchy it is. Please excuse the mess on my table. I have been actually working in the growth space, as you will see towards the end of this video. She appears to be a medium-sized Phalaenopsis with very, very branchy flower spikes. And not only that, we do have an ID, sort of. Here it says pink flamingo, but if you Google this, you won't find much. Certainly you will not find her. So it is a commercial name, but I don't think it is inspired from anything registered or anything real. Now, I think this camera is actually capturing the proper color. This is a color I have never seen on a Phalaenopsis. I've only seen on one orchid, and that's the Orchidopsis francine, which I lost, and I'm on the hunt for it. I'm looking for it actively, but I cannot find it. I really want that one back because now I know how to grow them properly, but yeah, I lost it sadly. That one was again this really sweet warm fuchsia pink color that I adore. This is on the color palette that I like, which you'll see on the screen. This is what I like: red, orange, gold, fuchsia red. These types of colors just make my day. And this orchid is the brightest, most vivid fuchsia pink I have ever seen in my life. And it costed me 30 euros, you guys. Oh my God, I cannot believe I spent so much on a Phalaenopsis, but I just went mental when I saw it. So there we have it. The orchid herself, you know, doesn't look like something spectacular, to be fully honest. She just looks like a normal Phalaenopsis. Maybe she's a little bit lighter in color than the typical complex hybrids, not as light as the Leodoro. Here we have a tag. It says optimal care. Oh, it says optiflor.nl. Ooh, I might visit them. This is the first time that I see the little website here. I'm gonna visit Optiflor and see if they actually have all of these hybrids on their website, because the flower shop where I found it had multiple hybrids, which I didn't see very, very often on the market. Hey guys, Editing Danny here. So I visited Optiflor actually, and what do my little eyes see? Is that a little wick there? Is that a little sort of self-watering kind of setup there? You know, sometimes I see these things and I think, well, I started to do that. Nah, these companies have no idea who I am. They don't watch my videos. It's just a coincidence. But sometimes, just sometimes I wonder, did these guys ever see my videos? Because I'm not entirely sure if anybody ever did a proper self-watering setup with orchids. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe somebody did. The most plausible thing is that, yeah, probably other people did it before me. But still, you guys might see some self-watering orchids pretty soon hitting the flower shops. In the remote case that I actually inspired this movement, you're welcome. And about that ID, I don't know. It's a commercial name. I'm gonna call it Pink Flamingo, but I don't think you're gonna find it registered to check out the parentage, at least not for now. Let us remain a little more on the Phalaenopsis realm. This one was one of the orchids treated with Cakey Grow, which grew 4 flower spikes. She is just opening up, but the orchid is, well, she's not struggling. I keep her super hydrated, but she drinks that water twice as fast as everybody else. Needless to say, the orchid didn't produce another new flower spike. So yeah, I've had my fun with cakey paste, but I don't think I want to encourage branching anymore on Phalaenopsis. But there you have it. I think if you apply the cakey paste in the autumn when spiking should occur, you will actually get a lot of secondary spikes. If you remember, we only got one cakey, which is paused, it's not growing. The orchid is growing her flower spikes right now. Yeah, so we're gonna test again the cakey thing, but when the orchid will grow vegetatively. I don't think applying it in autumn is a good idea if you want cakeys, but if you want some branches, there you have it. You just have to be careful with the mother plant. It might just be a little bit too much for it. Now, regarding the other Phalaenopsis, we have here a whole bunch of flower spikes just arching towards the light, which is nice, which is great. However, it's too much. They're arching a bit too much. So I decided that I will stake them. Already started. I have that one already staked there. But if you guys want me to, I'll do this process on video and I'll show you the benefits of actually using the lamp first and then staking it. Because all of these spikes, they're stakeable. Yes, they're hardened off, but they're straight, so I can stake them. So yeah, with the Phalaenopsis, it's just inconvenient to let them just droop. Although I really, really want them to droop down, I think this year I'm gonna go for the staked cascade and see how I like it. I need to go buy some stakes though, so I'm gonna film it one of these days if you guys want me to. If not, I'm just gonna do it off camera. But yeah, another problem is that they love that white wall. This one is growing on the wall because the wall is white, and the wall, the reflection of light on the wall is closer to it than my lamp. So yeah, I think I'm going to stake them, and this year we're just gonna have a nice cascade. What do you guys think? Quick update on the Ingracums as well. The Sesquipedale lost its bud. This is where it used to be. This is the bud. It's gone. Yeah, sadly, we're not gonna have the Sesquipedale in bloom, but hopefully we're gonna have the Vichy, which is just cracking open there. You can see the spur elongating. It's really exciting. Hopefully nothing will happen to this bud. But yeah, something was off. I think it was the cold. I don't know. It is the very first time this orchid blooms though, so maybe that has something to do with it. And here you can see we have another something here, but I don't think it's a bud. I mean, it would have developed, if anything would have developed by now. And I also see the flower spike yellowing. So yeah, I don't think anything will happen to this guy, but I'm gonna try to do better next year, and I'm looking forward for the Vichy. Next up, something I will definitely film. I have live sphagnum moss, you guys. Let me just show you. I discovered it this weekend. Let's just boost a little bit the exposure here. I am overexposed, but it's okay. Do you see these green little rosettes here? That's live sphagnum moss. And not only that, look at this. This is not algae, you guys. It is actually sphagnum moss, and a lot of it. I am shocked. This happens to be pretty much the only pot in which I have this, and I did actually look in other pots as well. I did see another tiny rosette in another pot, but I really don't seem to have this quantity of live moss in any of my pots. And this is actually a recovering orchid. It's one of the Ingracums, the Germinianum, which I didn't want to purchase, but I did by mistake. And he really hated leca. I pulled it out of that and I just placed it in moss so it recovers. And it does have roots. Here we go, I just watered this. I need to dump out the water. We do have quite a few roots here. And you can see on the top, there are quite a lot of roots created, and I was looking at it because I want to pot it in bark at this point. I don't think moss is the appropriate medium for it, but as I was looking at it, I noticed the live sphagnum moss, and I didn't purchase it live or anything of the sorts. I just used the Best Grow dry sphagnum moss, just put the orchid here, and I actually didn't fertilize it much. I think in the past 3 months or 4 months ever since I put it here, I only fertilized it once, very little. And you can see by the amount of algae that the orchid didn't even consume that. It just started to grow. As you can see, we do have a lot of setback here, tiny little leaves, and now the orchid is starting to put on bigger and bigger leaves. So algae got a bit of that nutrient, but I barely fertilized this pot. What I actually used here, more than anything, was the quantum orchid thing. I don't know if that made any difference or helped with anything. That's not a fertilizer. It's a culture of microorganisms, supposedly. But one video will be with me harvesting what I have here and just repotting this orchid into an appropriate medium. And a second video, which I will do off camera and probably publish it when I have results in a few months, I will try to obtain sphagnum moss yet again using dried sphagnum moss and some containers. But one container will be treated with quantum orchid and the other one with plain water, just so we see if the quantum orchid actually helped anything. Because I don't see what I did so different, except for fertilizing those a little bit more. So I don't know, I want to figure out if the quantum orchid had something to do with it or not in the sense that it has spores or anything, but maybe those microorganisms helped the moss. I don't know. I want to see if it makes any difference, and I want to try and recreate this and obtain some live sphagnum moss. So this was actually really exciting when I saw it. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, you guys, we have live sphagnum moss, which can be such a great top layer for things that don't require a lot of fertilizer, such as the masdevallias and other tiny things that need to stay permanently wet. I would much rather have sphagnum moss as a top layer than bark or anything else. So yeah, very exciting. I will try to take care of it as best as possible. I'll go to Brad's channel because he's the expert on sphagnum moss and all of these things. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, I have to say. So I'm taking advantage of my free days in the weekend, and I'm actually working in the greenhouse. One of the things that I really wanted to do, or actually needed to do, was get some sort of furniture, some sort of shelves to put all of my stuff that was just sitting everywhere on tables, such as substances and pots and all of those things. And I found something really nice at Ikea. Of course, Ikea, I'm in love with Ikea. This is a Kallax shelf. I'm gonna put a link down below to the product so you see what it is, which is a shelving unit, but you can opt to have different, let's say, shelves here. You can let it open, you can put a sort of half thing, or you can get one of these boxes, such as me, in which you can put your stuff, and they're just hidden away from human view. So I assembled it this weekend, and I put all of these things that were just everywhere here, and I'm in love with it. I think I'm gonna purchase another one a little later on because it just made such a difference, but I still have stuff. I have some more pots there, I have some dishes here that just didn't fit. So I am planning to get a new one. Bonus, on top of it, I can actually create another growth space. I have a bunch of stuff on it right now, but imagine I get 1 or 2 of those lamps that I have for my Phalaenopsis, maybe from Ikea, and just grow something here. Here is a place where I don't really get enough direct sunshine or light in any way, so I cannot really grow anything here. But this is quite a nice real estate. So if I put a lamp here, I can put some Phalaenopsis or something lower light, some of my African violets maybe. And if I get another one of these, I can have yet another pretty nice shelf. So I'll see what to do with it, but yeah, I like this multifunctional aspect of things. I'll link you to it down below. In case it wasn't really obvious, no, I'm not sponsored by Ikea. They don't even know that I shop at them. I'm just a fan of Ikea, and many of you guys probably know that already. Speaking about this, you might have noticed in the pictures that I shared this weekend in my community section, I had some long, beautiful nails. They were fake. They were press-ons. I put them on Friday. We went out. It was nice. It was beautiful. Next day, they were still on. And then I started to clean the grow space and off they went. So yeah, they don't last. One of the things that I really like is nail art and having nice nails, but it's just not realistic with my lifestyle. So I never have nice nails. But I have to say, I am enjoying the press-on nails. So whenever we have an event or we go out, I might put on those nails and you might see them sometimes in the video if they last. So yeah, just so you know, if one day you'll see me with these really long nails, they're not gonna last. Don't get used to them. Alrighty guys, that's about it for today. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna do the sphagnum moss harvesting video, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Like or dislike this video below, subscribe to my channel for regular orchid videos, tutorials, Q&As, and other fun orchid subjects. And if you like YouTube to notify you whenever I upload a new video, just turn on notifications for my channel. If you're interested in my setup and a little bit about my environment, again, expand the description. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!